Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Michael here, Deeper States Mind and Wellness. How are you, folks? Welcome to our show this morning. I wanted to touch base with some of you today and kind of cover some things about email. Some of you know I'm going to introduce myself because some of you are coming into this and I see a lot of people seeing the replay. So I kind of want to give you an idea who I am. My name is Michael Almers. I'm a clinical neurolinguistic programming hypnotherapist. I've been in practice for over 25 years. Started as a small business entrepreneur, just as many of you have, and started working on first out of my garage. And then I moved, well, actually, I was working part-time in an office up in the valley in Sherman Oaks, California. And then I moved from there to my garage, kept building my practice. And then from there, I went into having offices up to four. I had 4 offices at one point prior to the pandemic. But most of what we were doing at the end was to go virtual and to have everything online. So when the pandemic hit, we were pretty much prepared to be able to carry our stuff forward as far as just being online services, but yet still doing the coaching and still doing our business and life coaching as a hypnotist. But what's interesting is that I learned a lot about what's happening with people in business right now, and a lot of them are not understanding how to market themselves. Many of them don't understand how to carry themselves from social media or from brick and mortar. So there needs to be a blend. If you're one or the other, there still has to be a blend. Unless you're pure online or you're pure brick and mortar. But the thing is that a lot of businesses have kind of not done anything to grow. They've not moved forward beyond that. So join us here, and every Monday at 9 a.m. in the morning, I'm going to be talking about, and that time I changed. We are going to be starting a private Facebook group where we'll meet there, and the entrepreneurs that are meeting me will meet in that private Facebook group as opposed to meeting on an open forum like this, where sometimes people are getting it, sometimes people aren't. We're worrying about the time. Sometimes the time is good, sometimes the time is bad. It depends on what people are doing. But today I want to talk about email marketing and why is it important to collect emails. In the olden days, so story time, in the olden days when we were all brick and mortar and going to meetings like BNI, which I think probably have online programs by now. I don't know. BNI was a big one. There was one here in Long Beach called LBCBN, which was a big one. There were women's groups that were meeting and marketing. So the way it worked in the olden days, in the past, right, was that you would meet someone and, you'd pique interest and you guys would kind of mesh a little bit. That was your first line of contact. You give them a business card. They take the business card, and most at the end, right? I mean, before the pandemic, most people would take that business card and put the information into their cell phone anyway, and it would be lost forever, and then they would never find it again until the next meeting, and then they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I got your number, I got your information." Then some of them would go into their office and actually reach out and make contact. So email has changed the world a lot. Some good and some bad, because just like you and I were getting thousands of emails a week, a month, some of you are getting 1,000 emails in an hour because you're doing other things online and you're constantly being bombarded. Most people are not looking at their email 24/7. They're not really. I mean, I check my email once a week because we get full mailboxes, but a lot of people do not. And I want to talk to you a little bit about why it's so crucial today to collect emails. Why is it important to get those email addresses, and how is it different? Yeah, like I said, in the olden days, you had to, and we talked a little bit about this on the last presentation, that you had to make contact 3 times in order to be able to convert. Now it's 5 times online. 4 or 5 times, right? If you have to make it 4 or 5 times in order to convert or to get that client to even respond to you, it's a little bit different. But you are building more social proof by having the online services that you have, and people are seeing you live, just like this live. It's very different, right? We're interconnecting with each other. You guys are hearing me, seeing me, feeling my vibrational energy through this connection as I feel yours when you guys start leaving messages and asking questions. So it's important for us to know that we have abilities to contact people more so now than we did before. So you're still going to collect emails, but you're going to collect them differently. And I like to have people either collect them with an iPad or tablet, right? Go in and set up a form. You can do it inexpensively. You can set up a contact form through Google Sheets. Set it up so what happens is that way they're contacting you. You hand that tablet around during your conference, and people sign in, and as they sign in, they go through and they get the information together, and you populate it into your CRM. And we'll talk later on about CRMs. It's important to have a way to harvest those emails, but also to store them, right? You have to have somewhere to be able to keep them. I prefer autoresponders. There's a plethora of them out there. I mean, we have ConvertKit, you have GrooveFunnels, you have what's the other one? I can't think of the other one. There's a great big one, and they range. I mean, you're looking at $50 a month to $385 a month. I mean, it really depends on what your purpose is and what you're planning on doing. But one thing you can do with emails that you couldn't do before when you met somebody was you had to, if you sent a birthday card out to a business associate, you had to sit there and fill out the card. You had to get it ready and put a stamp on it and then send it out. It used to be a lot more work. The thing is that if you have automation through email automation, then you can send them a birthday card automatically, right? Or an anniversary card, and people love that. Who doesn't like getting just an email saying, happy birthday, we're wishing you the best, and this is also a 5% discount off our products. So when you can intertwine that into the platform, right? And you're making that contact, they feel more valuable. People feel value by when they're being acknowledged or when they're being given something or even just a hello, right? It's so important to consistently caress those emails and keep them warm. And I will talk about warming emails and the rest of it later on. But right now I'm just talking about email collections, right? So how do you think you could use an email that you brought in from, let's say not even a group, right? Because groups are easy. You've made that presentation, you're in front of them, you've made that interconnection, and they feel connected to you and they want more information of your product. So that's kind of an easy grab to grab an email address. But now online, let's talk about what has to happen. So I talked before about how it's important to touch them 4 or 5 times. It's important to come into that contact 4 or 5 times. So initially what you could do is you could offer an ad, you could run an ad, or you could just offer organically a product, a download. I mean, how many would like to have a download of understanding what hypnosis is and how does it change your life, right? So if you can offer the download as what they call a lead magnet, then what happens is you build that ad or that post, whichever you want to do. Now, like I said, remember I said Facebook is a pay-for-play product, right? So if you're going to run an ad on Facebook, you're going to pay for it. But if you have a great enough lead magnet, so let's say we do a weight loss program, and I offer a lead magnet that gives you 5 things that help you reduce calorie intake a week, right? 5 things you can do a week to help you reduce the calorie intake. People are going to be like, oh, wow, what is that? How can I get that? Correct? So you're going to create that post or that ad. People are going to come in and want that lead magnet. So they click on that and they're going to come in, they're going to grab your lead magnet. Well, now they've offered or given you permission to collect their email through that lead magnet because they've signed up for it. Your email or autoresponder is actually going to send them a confirmation as well. So that we call it double opt-in. So if you double opt into the email address, now that client's going to get those emails and because they wanted it, right? One thing you can do with the CRMs is it will segregate those emails. So let's say John here only wants to get emails on weight loss because he's been working on weight loss for the last 2 years. He doesn't want to know about stop smoking. He's not a smoker. He doesn't want to know about pregnancy because he's not getting pregnant. So it'll segment that email list, but it'll segment that person into that email list. So now everything that you ever create or that you put out to your weight loss people, he'll continue getting. So now he's on your email list. The second thing you can do is you can send him a secondary email thanking him for the download, right? Thanking him for downloading your product. Then once he downloads your product, then you can go ahead and send him another one maybe a week later and say, you've tried our product. How do you like it? We hope you're enjoying this free product, blah, blah, blah. And then send them into a smaller buy, right? So that you can send them in from there into maybe buying a meal planning program where it sets up their meals for them for a week and they can try that. Then what you do is you build them into the next email. So the next email is going to be, now that you've tried our made for you program, what's the next step? Well, the next step would be our 20 session program that you can lose 2 pounds per week and we can get you healthy and back on track. So that's one thing about that is that now that we have the ability to create email segments through CRMs and we have the ability to be able to reach out to clients specifically for their needs and wants, right? many people are worried about, oh my God, Facebook and Instagram and all the social media platforms are collecting all this information. In a way, it's bad because they have all your information, but in a way, it's really good because now you're not getting a lot of crap. You're not getting the cordless toothbrush that flosses and waxes your teeth at the same time, right? Because you're not interested in that. You're not getting bombarded with that. So the good thing about marketing through email is that it's segregating each one of your clients based on what their needs are, what their performance needs are, not based on what you think they should have. Birthday wishes, another thing. Automate your email clients so that what happens is instead of I'm not, and I'll touch base on that in a minute, but I think that it's important to be able to stay in touch with them, not just when you're selling something, because you can't do that because they're going to get tired of that. You can't constantly be the sell, right? It's like 98% of your contacts should be just enjoying things, talking about things, welcoming them, giving them great ideas, give of yourself. Because as you give of yourself, what happens is you're building credibility and trust. And what happens is when you finally go in to sell something, they're good. If they need it, they're going to be attuned to it, right? And now you're the expert in that field because you've been giving them something all the time. You did not you did not hold back and not present with what you had, or what your products are. So it's real important to know that. But if you can set up your CRM properly, you can get it to where the CRM automatically knows every birthday that's in March, right? So everybody in March, it'll populate and you can trigger it. So what happens is it sends out a day before, 2 days before, maybe even on the day of, right? I don't recommend the day of just because people get bombarded with email. But as it sets up, it will go ahead and it'll execute it as you come closer to the day of their birthday. And usually I'd like to get it out like 1 or 2 days before, because that way it's like you stand out from the rest, right? I mean, how many people are sending out emails for a birthday on the birthday, right? So it's really important to keep that in mind. CRMs, I'll talk about those later. There's tons of them. Like I said, they can range from free, which I don't recommend free anymore. I will tell you that a long, long time ago, I learned that when you barter stuff out or you try to get things that are free, usually there's an upsell on there somewhere, and you're gonna owe them something if you want their product to work properly. And even with doing bartering with other people, you'll find that sometimes my product is a high-end product. I mean, we have been running high-end products for many years. When high-end products were people were selling timeshares, we were selling programs for therapy and changing people's lives. So that's something you want to keep in mind, is that if you have a high-end product that you know that is value to it, then you need to make sure that you keep that high-end value on that product. Emails are great because you can collect them in many ways. Live events are starting to happen again. People are now going on and doing live events. It's important. Nobody wants to be sitting there writing it on a piece of paper. How many times do you get back to your office, you can't even read what the hell they wrote? Or you can't read your own writing. You're like, what did I put here? So, and there are some apps that you can use on your iPad that will come in and collect that information for you. But like I said, I'm talking to entrepreneurs here sometimes that have $0 to start their business, and it's a thought that they're going to implement. Matter of fact, I met a gentleman the other day on TikTok who's making his own shorts and sewing them, and he's running into production issues. But the thing is that it's a learning experience, right? He'll find a production company at some point and then start to scale off of that. But the emails are important also during the building of your business, because if you have the emails, you can share along. People love people's success, right? People like people who are people like themselves. So if you're working with entrepreneurs that are building their business as well as you building your business, you can continue an email track of what's happening. Video is awesome. You can now connect a video onto your emails using platform systems. And what will happen is you can do a video. And it's kind of great because you get that set up, right? And you create maybe a happy birthday video, and you connect that to an email sequence. And what happens is everybody's birthday who's in March, it'll send it out, it'll say March 1st, right? And it'll just say, it's your birthday month. Congratulations and happy birthday for being another day on the earth as it rotates around in a full circle, whatever. And then you're giving them the ability to be able to utilize video. And how many people are not even reading anymore, right? How many people are just kind of going to YouTube, and that's how you figure out? How many of you even listen to my voice right now? I've used YouTube to fix your car, to fix your dryer, to, I learned. I watched YouTube videos on how to use PEX to redo my entire house for cold water. So a lot of information's out there, and you need to be able to segment the client based on the emails, so that way you know what they want and you're giving them what they want as opposed to just throwing a dart at the wall. When your client enjoys it much more if they have the ability to be able to do those kind of things, or they feel more connected to you because now it's like, oh, you know what, I struggled with my weight loss in the past and I completely understand. I can completely connect to that thought process, right? So if you can connect to your clients or email and segregate those emails so they're specific to what that client is looking for, then you have a better, not just a better chance at converting them into a paying client, but more importantly, to get them to have free knowledge of who you are and what you do, how you take that client from 800 pounds to 150 pounds, right? And then that gets them connected and they start learning the experience of what you do as a human being or as a business or as a therapist or as a person. So another thing you can do with email population or propagation of an email list is to be able to put it into a sequence that is building up just a hello process. I mean, how many businesses connect to you and you don't hear from them for, 6 months, 5 months? And now with the attention span of people, they don't hear from you in 2 weeks. You're forgotten about. So it's really, really important to make sure that you nurture that email list and you constantly are giving them maybe, they used to say, oh my God, too many emails are out of control, but what's interesting is that, and I think this was during, all the way past during the Obama campaign, they really understood what email was and how it worked, right? I mean, they sent people out, small donations make big money. Small buys make big money. Look, McDonald's had, what was McDonald's, what was it, 3 billion served or something? Yeah, it was $1.99 hamburger, but $3 billion at $1.99. 3 billion hamburger eaters at $1.09 is pretty big, right? So you got to look at the conversions of everything and really think about the first thing. I want to kind of leave you with an understanding that when you're sending out to emails, remember, it's not about the sale. It's about building a relationship. And right now, where we are as individuals in a life that in a world and a life that is very much electronic and automated, respect their needs, respect their wants. It cannot be just about the sale. It's got to be about building a connection, building a relationship. Emails are really important because they help you maintain relationships. That's kind of crazy to say for me right now because I grew up in a time where you made a phone call, you connected, you made that inner bond, you made that relationship grow and build. And yeah, you can still have that. But when you have 20, 30,000 people on your email list, how do you do that? You can't pick up the phone every day and make calls, right? You can robocall, but I think that kind of takes away the personality away from you connecting with your client. But one thing I can say is that we do use robocalls when we have an event happening. So let's say that 10 of you have decided to do a trip with me to Sedona, and we're going to be doing a 1 week camp out, learning about spirituality, learning about hypnosis, learning about NLP, learning about how to better your life, right? Using the products and tools that we offer. Once you build onto that, once you sign on to that program, then what you can do is you can automate through robocalls. That way the robocall calls in and it's specific material you need to know for the trip. So it's okay to do that. But to robocall your entire list gets to the point where it's very automated and they hate that. People still want that touchy-feely connection, and you have to be able to represent that through an email. You have to be able to represent that through a phone call. You may have high diamond clients that are bringing in $1 million for you, and those are going to be $1 million a year. Those are going to be the clients that you pick up the phone, you talk to them, you make that interconnection. The other ones, it's more than you will make those connections when you do live events. You do keep doing free live events, bring them in, offer it to them, let them come in, let them make that connection with you again, let them build that relationship with you. I was going to say earlier is that as we've evolved through email and just sending out a postcard, the evolution of that is crazy for me to say, because I was a networker that would bring in all my clients from networking, and now it's pretty much referral based, and it's pretty much building a relationship online, building a relationship with people who have no idea what my product is or who I am. it's important to know that evolution will happen again, I believe, and we're using video more now than ever, and I think that eventually there'll be an evolution that'll happen beyond that, and I don't know what that's going to be. Maybe it could be this whole thing where we have this 3D hologram that pops on your desk and talks to you. I don't know what the future is going to be, but one thing I can say is it's real important to stay on top of everything and educate yourself. And I'm hoping that this is going to do that for all of us as business groups. We can kind of like networking, like BNI, kind of like the women's groups I used to belong to, the LBCBN business networking group. The key is going to be that what we do is in this group is that we share with each other, and that's really the most important thing. And there may be people in here as this group starts to grow that we could use services from. Don't be afraid to use a group, all right? And once we go on the Facebook page, what's going to happen is we'll have the group segregated so that you will be able to see what your own peers are offering and what their experiences are as they grow, as they go through these growing pains, right? Or they go through these growing triumphs where there's no pain, they just implement something and it just kicked butt. So I'm excited that I'm going to be speaking at the hypnosis at a convention in Las Vegas called Hypnosis. I just lost my train of thought because I'm trying to go somewhere else with this now. We're going to find that I'm going to regress real quick before I go into that, because remember, emails are a tool. If you start disrespecting that tool and you start sending them spam every single day or every week that has to do with upsells for you, they're going to unsubscribe. And that's the key, is that you don't want them to do that. You send them emails just welcoming them, thanking them, giving them something, offering part of your services, give, right? They're not going to unsubscribe. They're going to continue to look and pick and choose what it is that they want to read or to experience. So it's real important to keep that in mind. So if you guys are interested in joining this group, DM me, because right now we have nothing in place. DM me below and I will start building a list where we can all actually start meeting in a private group, as opposed to coming on this early in the morning and coming into an open forum like this. Because a lot of replays are happening and I see people out there seeing it. I'll be honest with you right now, with the algorithms, the way they're set up on Facebook, not so much YouTube, but the way they're setting up on Facebook, please do me a favor and share this. If you know anybody who's an entrepreneur who's just starting out, or maybe they're seasoned, right? Maybe they've been in business like myself for 25 years. We all have something to share. We all have information to give. Right now, the SBA is giving a lot of money out for people to start new businesses. A lot of people don't know that. Go on their website, check it out. There's a lot of people starting new companies right now and they're lost. I mean, it's important for us to have a group to go to, right? And it's important for us to be able to connect with each other in order for us to learn and understand and build more knowledge of each other. We are able to build relationships based on email, but it's real important to be able to have a connection, to have a place where we can meet as entrepreneurs, right? And I'd like it to be online, because how many of you guys don't want to travel anywhere? I mean, look at the prices of gas. I mean, look at the process of, olden days, you woke up, at 5:30 in the morning to be at a 6 a.m. meeting that lasted an hour and a half. Then you would go to your office and you'd start your business day. Business has changed a lot, because we now have the ability to interconnect with each other like this, and as opposed to have to feel like we have to be at that office at 9 a.m. in the morning to see our first client at 10, or 8 a.m. in the morning to get our team together by 8 o'clock to start opening our doors at 9. So a lot's changed, and I still think it's very important for us to be able to stay connected and be able to draw to each other and be able to connect like this. As far as connections and us building this group, it's going to be so important for you guys to share this out, because like I said, Facebook is not going to, I'm not going to spend marketing money on something that I think is really important for us to just learn from each other. But I think we can grow this group just with everybody attending and everybody building together and reaching each other. So let me wrap this up. So is email collections important? Absolutely. I think it's more important now than it's ever been, right? Ever been, because that's really your only connection. And there's many ways to get one-on-one emails to somebody. They have the tap bracelets now that you just tap the phone and it sends all your information into the phone that it just tapped, and then it gives them your contact information. What I don't like about that is that you get lost in the context even on their phone. So it's really important to do something that interconnects with them. And that's why it's important that once you get their email information, you get theirs as well, that you do send them a thank you. You send them an email saying, thank you so much for meeting me. You know, it was great to meet you. You know, I'm excited that you're moving forward in your adventure and blah, blah, blah. You know, and sometimes you never know. You may have a client that needs their services more than you can do something for your client. And you say, look, you know, don't be afraid to refer out. I mean, when in doubt, refer out, right? If you don't know how to handle that client or how to take care of that client, refer out. Don't be afraid to refer out. But emails are going to be something that you collect. And once we get a little further along on this, I'm going to talk to you about CRMs, what you do with those emails. How do you put them into a system that you can actually remember who they are and what they're doing, and how do you segregate email lists? How do you send the email list just to that specific client so that client's not getting bombarded with all kinds of information, right? So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. And hey, visit me this Friday. I'll be doing every Thursday at 9 a.m. in the morning. I'm going to be doing Thirsty Thursdays. We used to be called Thirsty Thursdays, and now we're just doing information about hypnosis and NLP, how it can help you, what it can do for your life, how to deal with stuff like depression, anxiety, how to deal with being overwhelmed with taking off the mask now and stuff like that. That's going to be our topics. Factual Fridays is going to be something I'm going to give as well. That's going to be over on the Deeper States Mind and Wellness page. We'll just be talking about stuff that happened in the history of hypnosis and NLP, things that happened during the beginning of hypnotherapy. I mean, like this last weekend on Friday, we just I talked a brief moment about what it'd be like if, you know, you got injured, and where hypnosis actually started, which was in the healing temples of the pyramids in Egypt. So anyway, I look forward to talking to all you guys. I look forward to meeting you guys and joining this group. Let's try to see if we can build this together, and if we can all become one. And that way we have an outlet as well as an understanding, a place where we can learn from each other. All right. So if you're an entrepreneur starting business, or you've been in business and you're seasoned for the last 100 years, you're a 100-year-old businessman, connect to our group. Just DM me and we'll get you in the system into automation, so that way you can actually become part of the Facebook group. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing all of you guys on my next live, and also on the Facebook group once we get that all set up. Have a great day, and enjoy your week, and have a good week. Bye.
I think these videos are brilliant, and I'm sure you will like them too. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell.